Yes, gang, what's happening? Right, we'll give it a few minutes as we always do to let some of you lovely people jump on before we get started with today's live, today's episode. What's happening? People jumping on Instagram. We're live on TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube. Guys, leave me an emoji in the comments. Let me know how your day's going. Give me a thumbs up if you are watching on YouTube, please. Thank you very much. And then we are going to get this party going very shortly. Cool. Right. So this is, as I keep saying, I set myself a target. 5 lives. Alive every day this week throughout the weekdays. And we are on day number 4. Day number 4. I am fucking holding myself accountable to show up for you guys. Cool. We are getting going now. We got a thumbs up on YouTube. Thank you. Appreciate you. Making sure we're going on Facebook. Yes, we are. A few guys on Instagram now, populating nicely. A couple on TikTok. What's going on? Right. Shall we hit record and get into today's live and today's episode? I don't want to be recording on that block. So I'll tell you, being a host of a podcast, going live on socials, recording, editing, there's a lot of shit to do. A lot of shit to do, man. But I fucking love it because it's having an impact and you guys are getting mad value from it. So sweet. Right. We're rolling. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Yes, gang. Welcome. That was a very big yes, wasn't it? But I am buzzing today. I'm absolutely buzzing. Probably that bloody kind of sugar-free monster that I had before. But welcome to another episode of the Type 1 Movement podcast. And in today's episode, I'm going to be talking about getting really good at the boring shit if you want success with your diabetes. Now, please leave me a rating and a review on the podcast app, as it really does help me reach more type 1 diabetics and positively impact our community. Also, give it a screenshot, share it to your Instagram stories, and tag me at type1_Tom. A lot of you guys have been doing this lately. I'm truly grateful for that. And I love hearing the value that you get from these episodes. That's why I show up for you guys at the end of the day. Little caveat, little flip side before we get into it. I set myself a goal, a target. I was going to be like, Tom, you've got to show up 5 days this week, Monday to Friday. You've got to do a live on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and you've got to record 5 podcast episodes this week. And I'm going to keep that momentum going. And this is day number 4. We're on day number 4, team. And today I'm going to be speaking about getting really good at the boring shit if you want success with your diabetes. Now, last night, so every Wednesday, me and my clients, we do a Zoom call, right? And it's a weekly workshop where we speak about, I open with something motivational to drive them forward, give them a bit of a kick up the arse if you need it. And we speak about their biggest wins for the week and biggest challenges. And last night I opened up with this and I thought this is going to be really good to deliver to you guys on the live and on the podcast as well. Now, getting really good at the boring shit if you want success with your diabetes. I'm going to say this, like I said to my client, the only probably difference, if you've not got that great management over your diabetes, the only difference between you and someone who does have great management is they've got really good at the boring, mundane, repetitive daily tasks. That's it. They've got really good, and it's become habitual at the boring, mundane, repetitive daily tasks that we need to do as type 1 diabetics. That's it. But it's having knowledge on what those tasks are, and I'm going to get into that shortly. But guys, there's something that I want you to understand. Yeah. Something I want you to understand is it all comes down to repetition of these daily tasks. And a lot of you type 1s, give me a silent head nod, or you can leave me fire emoji in the comments if this is you. You feel like you gain some momentum and then you fall off. You struggle with consistency. You're like, right, I'm going to start eating well. I'm going to test my levels more. I'm going to run a few basal tests, insulin to carb ratio tests, and life gets a bit busy. It gets a bit stressful. And before you know it, you're out of your flow. You feel fucked. You're out of your flow. You broke that momentum that you're starting to build, and that's it. You're back at square one. You're back at square one. And this is how we end up getting good at really, like the really boring shit, if you like, that will lead us towards better glucose control, better health, better diabetes management, is you need to put the reps in. I'm going to tell you what you need to put the reps in shortly, but you need to be willing to put the reps in. Guys, I always use this analogy. Think about, like, if you go to the gym when you first did a squat, I bet it wasn't that great, unless you're one of these that can just squat amazingly straight away. Some people kind of know I was shit. My squat was shit, right? But then I did it over and over and over and over and over again. And now my squat's really good, right? It's just repetition. It's become habitual. And it's the same with managing your diabetes. It's the same with these daily tasks. So we need to put the reps in until it becomes routine. When it becomes a routine, it becomes a habit. When it becomes a habit, it will take less of your mental energy. Yeah. So we need to be willing to put the reps in on these boring, mundane, repetitive, that's why they're repetitive daily tasks that move the needle forward for us. We need to make that a routine. That becomes a habit and that takes less mental energy. Guys on the live, if this is making sense, stick me a fire emoji in the comments. Guys listening to a podcast, I want a silent head nod from you guys. Yeah. Or you can even reach out to me. Now, this is what happens with a lot of type 1s. They start putting the reps in. Yeah, they start putting the reps in. It slowly starts to move the needle forward. It slowly starts to become a routine. And then they get what's called shiny object syndrome. Like, oh, look at that diet. Oh, I might try this bit of tech, or I need this to better manage my diabetes, or I need that. They get shiny object syndrome and they stop putting the reps in. So then you end up back at square one again. Stop putting the reps in so you end up back at square one. And this is what we call shiny object syndrome. I've been there before. And people, I will put this down to like, look at people on like a fat loss journey. People want to lose fat. People want to lose fat, right? And what happens is they start a certain way of eating. And then let's say their friend goes, oh, I tried this diet and I lost like 15 stone in a day. So they're like, oh, I might try that. And they get shiny object syndrome and they keep changing from diet to diet to diet. A lot of type 1s are the same. They're changing from one way of eating, one way of exercising to the next, to the next, to the next. When if you just stay the course, likely it would have moved the needle forward faster than you changing direction and getting shiny object syndrome, right? So I want you to understand that. We put the reps in. It does take a lot of mental energy at first. It does take a lot of mental energy at first. I always say that to my clients. But we put the reps in. It becomes routine. It becomes habitual. And then it takes less mental energy. So I want to give you guys 5 things, 5 of the things, the boring, mundane, daily things we need to do as type 1s that will help move the needle forward in terms of managing your blood glucose levels, your health, and your overall diabetes management. Yeah. These 5 things are what you should be doing day in, day out. The first one, the biggest one that underpins everything, is mindset. Get really good at working on your mindset. Yeah. So here's a few things I like to do that you can do that really do help me with my mindset. Yeah. First thing is I journal. And that could just be something simple of writing down what your biggest win was for the day. Yeah. At the end of the day or in the morning, write down what your biggest win was. Yeah. I'll do 10 minutes meditation. This isn't for everyone, but if you want to try it, if you've never tried it, give it a blast. It might really help you. You might not get on with it, or it might help you. The third one is I do a gratitude list every morning. I write down 3 things that I'm grateful for. This really does just help me like keep a positive mindset because it's so difficult. It can be challenging as type 1s. And we get so caught up with the things that aren't going right that we forget about the things that actually are going right in our life. So even if it's like me just writing down 3 things that you're grateful for every single fucking morning, that's really going to help. Another one is walking. I love to walk. Yes, I've got an incentive, Steve, my little puppy dog. But I love to walk because it gives me a mental release. And these are the things that are really going to help your mindset. You should be doing some of these day in, day out. If you're someone who struggles with mindset, like a lot of us type 1s, I know I do, I know if I stop doing some of these things, my head will fall off. So I need to keep doing these things. I need to put the reps in. Then now my routine, it's become habitual and it takes less mental energy. So the first one is mindset. I like to journal, meditate, do a gratitude list, walking. The second one is testing your blood glucose levels. Testing your blood glucose levels. Guys, one caveat on this. When you test, if you see a high or a low, I don't want you to become emotionally attached to that number. This is something I speak about a lot. Don't base all your self-worth and all your emotions on what your fucking blood glucose is. Don't. Just use it as feedback, as data to say, hey, something needs adjusting. Let's go and figure out that problem. But you're only going to know if you get really good at testing, you put the reps in, it becomes a routine, it becomes a habit, then it takes up less of your mental energy. So the second one that you need to get really good at if you want success with your diabetes management and your health is testing your blood glucose levels. The third one, this is where a lot of type 1s come unstuck. A lot of type 1s come unstuck because they don't really understand this. And recently, I've been putting out loads of content to help you guys. So I appreciate you guys who respond to this. is the third one is running basal, so your background ratios, basal rate if you're on a pump, and your ratios tests. Get really good at understanding how to do these tests. In my course, in my program, we've got so much in-depth trainings on how to run a basal test, how to run insulin to carb ratio test, how to test how much insulin to give for fat, insulin to give for protein. But you need to understand this and get really, really good at running tests. Yes, it takes a lot of mental energy at first, but as I said, you run more repetitions, it becomes a routine, it becomes a habit, and it takes less mental energy. That's the only way for it to take less mental energy and for you to understand it better. So my third tip, if you want to get really good at and successful with diabetes management, is get really good at running tests. Yeah. Fourth tip, dead simple one, track your food intake. Look, if you keep guesstimating the amount of carbs, the amount of fat, the amount of protein in your meals, you're guesstimating and you're getting highs or lows all the time. But let's say you've run ratio tests, you know your insulin to carb ratio is right, you know your basal rate's right, and you're not tracking your food, you're just guesstimating. Track your food. Track your food. Get really good at tracking your food. Get really good at being consistent, because then eventually you put the reps in on doing it. It becomes a routine, becomes habitual. It takes less mental energy. And the great one with this is eventually, like where I'm at now and a lot of my most successful clients, you don't need to track anymore, because you've got all that knowledge, all that information. You can now look at a plate of food, guesstimate, and you get it pretty fucking bang on. But that will only come from putting the reps in on tracking your food intake and being consistent with that day in, day out. Yeah. And the last one, dead simple. Tip number 5 is water. Drink enough water. Hydration, I cannot stress it enough, is so simple. It's like I'm drinking water at the time of recording this now. Yeah. Take a sip. It's that fucking simple that a lot of type ones that have got shiny object syndrome, they think they need this, that, or the other when they've not nailed these basics. And one of those basics is drinking enough water, staying hydrated. So simple. Don't overlook the simple things that are going to give you the biggest return on investment and move the needle forward when it comes to having success with diabetes, better glucose levels, and better health. Team, I'm going to recap this. Yeah. 5 things that you need to get really good at day in, day out if you want success with your diabetes. The first one is managing your mindset, doing things that you enjoy that give you a mental release for the day-to-day stress we get as type 1s. Told you I like to journal and meditate every morning. I've got a gratitude list. I like to go on walks. Yeah, you can take some of them, or if you've got something, I also love playing on my DJ decks. That's a form of meditation. It stops me thinking about the stress of day-to-day life and stuff, right? If you've got something that you really enjoy, do that. Use that as working on your mindset. Yeah. The second one is testing your blood glucose levels so you can get the data so you know when, where, and what to adjust. The third one is getting really good and consistent at running your basal rate tests and ratio tests. Fourth one, get really good at tracking your food so you get that knowledge. Then eventually you won't need to track. You can guesstimate really well. And the fifth one is get really good at fucking drinking enough water. Keep water on you. You'll be surprised. I thought, right, I'm adding that in there. So simple. But there's that many type ones to speak to that say, yeah, I struggle with drinking enough water. But it is the most simple thing off that list of 5 things that you can fucking do. Drink enough water. And it has a huge return on investment. Team, that is it. Honestly, get really good at those boring, mundane tasks. And I can guarantee your levels will start to improve. Your diabetes management will start to improve. And your health will start to improve. Team, that is it. If you got value from this episode, please leave me a rating and a review on the podcast app, as it really does help me reach more type 1 diabetics and positively impact our community. I want to know, team, the guys on the live now, because we're going to stay on, but you guys on the podcast, I want you to drop me a DM if you got me on socials and let me know out of those 5 things, what is the one thing that you're going to work on? The one thing that you're going to work on. This is how I'm going to fucking keep you accountable, even if you're not my client. Drop me a DM. Tell me the one thing out of mindset, testing your levels, running tests, tracking food, drinking enough water. What's the one thing that you're going to focus on? Put repetitions in, make it a routine, make it habitual, and make it take up less of your mental energy. Team, that is it. Until the next episode, thank you very much for listening. Hope you have the best fucking day ever. Peace. Guys on the live, those still on, I want to know from you guys, stick them in the comments, what is the one thing out of those 5 that you're going to focus on now? What's the one thing out of those 5? Is it your mindset? Is it testing your blood glucose levels? Is it running basal and ratio tests? Is it tracking your food intake? Or is it drinking enough water? What's the one thing that you're going to focus on from today out? Put the fucking reps in, Make it become routine, make it habitual, and make it take up less mental energy. Let's go. I want to know. Stick it in the comments. I'm going to have a quick look through as well to see if we do have any comments. We've got a few thumbs up on YouTube. Thanks, team. I appreciate you. We've got a few comments on TikTok. Can you put year 3000 on, please? I'm not sure what that is, bud. Let me know. I'm not sure what that is. Have a quick scoop through. You guys on Instagram. Got a few emojis going on. Thanks, team. Appreciate you. Strong advice there, mate. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate that. Cool. Right, team. That is it. Hopefully you guys got value from that. Thank you very much for watching, for lending me your eyes and ears during this live. And until the next live, which will be tomorrow, I hope you have the fucking best day ever. Thank you very much, gang. Love you all. Peace.